Hello, so today I'm going to do an art supply tour. I'm going to walk you through the first half of my art supplies in this video, and then I'm going to do a second video next week for the second half of my supplies. And I'm just going to start off with my colored pencils because I really like colored pencils. I got these ones from Arteza a while ago because I heard that they're very comparable to the Prismacolors. I have to say that I agree and I disagree. They are very soft and wax-based like the Prismacolors, but I think they are not as easy to blend and layer as those are. I still enjoy them because I think that they are very pigmented and they are good, but I think it takes a little bit of work to get like a smooth result with these. But nevertheless, I still enjoy these, and this video also reminds me that there's a lot of stuff that I need to pull out and use again. I'm also going to swatch these in a minute. Then I have these Faber-Castell ones, like Faber-Castell German. I'm pretty sure these were like the first good pencils that I got, and they are very pigmented. I'm pretty sure that I did like, I don't know, 25 finished pieces with these, and most of them are still pretty big, except for like the white and the black and this one pencil in like a golden ochre kind of shade that just keeps breaking. I need to buy that again to make sure that I have one that doesn't keep breaking while I'm drawing with it. And I think this is really satisfying to look at. I love the gradient. I like doing detail work with this. I like working on like rough paper with this, like the Strathmore paper, the brown one. And yeah, then I got the Prismacolors. These are my favorite because they are the easiest to blend and layer. I've pretty much had them for 3 years now, I think, and just as all the other pencils, they don't look as used as I think they are, but again, I did this video to remind myself that I have enough stuff and that it's okay to use it, and that it's okay to indulge and enjoy, because I'm not gonna run out of anything anytime soon. I also really love these, as I said, because it's kind of effortless to blend these. Like, you can just kind of slap them on and they are going to produce a good result. And now I am doing a little swatch test of all three of these, starting off with the Arteza ones. You can see that they are pigmented, but they are not very vibrant, or not as vibrant as they could be. Like, they're a little bit, like, there's still a little bit of transparency to them, but I still like them. They're just the least favorite of the three that I have because they were the cheapest, and maybe I expected them to be like fine art quality when they're just like student quality or whatever. But as I said, they are still good pencils. I would still recommend them. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just not professional quality like the other two that I had first, and therefore I found it a little bit harder to get used to them, but I still enjoy them and they're still blendable. You just have to go over it a little bit more, and you have to be a little bit careful not to lay down too much so you can still layer them. But as you can see here, you can still get a really nice result. And now I am just gonna do the same thing with the polychromos. I'm pretty sure that I picked out a slightly too dark shade of red for this test, but it still turned out fine, I think. You can see that they go down a little bit darker than the other ones, or a little bit more vibrant, and because they are oil-based pencils, they also don't go blunt as fast as the others. Like, you can fill much more space with these without having to sharpen them, which is really nice. But at the same time, that means that they're not as soft, and softer pencils are nicer for blending, and these took a little bit more time to blend. I'm pretty sure that I had to go over this 2 or 3 more times to get like a seamless result, whereas with the Arteza, I'm pretty sure it took me like a minute less or something. But they're still the highest quality, I think. They break the least, they feel the nicest in the hand. They also smell the best, which is just a little thing that I enjoy, but it's just like the smell of like fresh cut wood, like a new book but in pencil form. The girls that get it, get it. Yeah, and then for my favorite pencils, the Prismacolors, you can just see how I immediately went ham with them, because I just know that I can rely on them to blend effortlessly. It's really fun to draw these. Like whenever I use these for drawing, I just know that it's gonna turn out good. It's like, I sometimes feel like a good half of my artistic ability just comes from using these pencils. Like whenever someone gives me a compliment on something that I drew with colored pencils, the chance that I did it with these pencils is pretty damn high. And you can also see that I kind of went ham with the red on the right side at first, because I trust these pencils so much that I actually had trouble blending them with the yellow, because they weren't as easy to blend as I have them in my heart, but like it's still the easiest out of all three of these. But you also shouldn't like go completely ham with the darkest color, because like I kind of rely on them being able to blend with the lighter color after all. But you still have to put a little bit of work into it. Like they don't blend themselves, but sometimes I feel like they are most likely to. And yeah, then I have the colorless blender, which is one of my favorite things, because you can just like burnish the pigment into the paper without using one of your colors, and I think that's really handy. Then I have some unfortunately very neglected Copics, because I actually really enjoy drawing with these, but because the refills are so expensive, I just kind of hoard them instead, which is really stupid, and I should just use them, enjoy them, get myself some refills. Maybe I'm gonna get some Ohuhu markers, because they are cheaper and they now also have the refills, which is like the only reason why I never got them. I always went for Copics because they had the refills, and for me, like, I don't want to throw a whole ass marker away just because it's empty. Like, it feels weird, but I still sometimes struggle with impulse purchasing. Like one time I was in London and got these Sharpies just because they're Sharpies, and I didn't really know what to expect, but everyone was hyping them up at the time when I bought these in like 2019. I watched a lot of like what's in my pencil case videos, and everyone had Sharpies. And then another impulse purchase, because there was like a whole tower at like the dollar store with these. It was like 100 packets of these, reduced by like 50%. So I got these, and I regret this, because half of them came dried out, and every time that I want to use these, I have to spritz them with some alcohol. I just use like disinfectant, which actually works, but I'm just like showcasing this is how they came, like this is how I bought them. And I get that they were cheap, but I feel like this still annoys me, because I thought that like my first set of alcohol markers was a fake set of twin markers, and half of them also came dried out, and they would also fray a lot when drawing with them, and I had to throw a lot of them away in the end, which felt really wasteful. And for some reason I was hopeful that these would be better, because like you can't buy necessarily fake stuff in like a regular store. Like the fake stuff on Amazon isn't gonna be as detectably fake, but yeah, these are just bad quality, but they're not fake, at least like they're not gonna fall apart while drawing with them. Then I have some oil paints that one of my best friends bought for me when I made it into art school, which I still really appreciate, because these are really good and I like them. The big paints that I just sorted out of there are ones that my teacher recommended us get full sizes of when we paint a lot with oil paints, because they are just like handy colors to have. And then I still have some really cheap ones that I actually don't like that much, because they're not very pigmented and they also don't blend as well as the other two I have. They're just from like a really old cheap set from like the grocery store or something. Yeah, I don't like those a lot, but I'm gonna try to use them up. And then this is the solvent that I use. It's just like Madame has thought it was a good idea to not dump a little bit out of there, but to use the stuff directly, and therefore I have ruined it forever with a yellow stain. But it still works fine. Then I have some acrylic paints. These are ones that my neighbor gifted to me when she was decluttering her art stuff. The CPN ones at the beginning, they are very thin, but I like the metallic effect. Like, they're not the highest quality and they also smell a little bit weird, but I like the metallic effect that they give. And then these are from my childhood and half of them are honestly kind of dried out. I think I need to throw away at least like the blue and one of the yellows, because they are so thick that you can barely work with them anymore, and for some reason I still hold on to them and I don't know why. But yeah, I enjoy the ones that are still usable, like the purples are still usable and the gold is. The silver is usable as well, but most of the like regular lighter colors are pretty much dried out at this point. But I'm too like stubborn to throw them away already. But looking at this footage, I'm just thinking of how much I dislike using them and how it keeps me from using acrylic paints, and I don't think that's how it should go. Then I have some that are actually new and fresh. I got these 1 or 2 years ago from like the grocery store as well, or just like an art store, or like the dollar store, like this white at the bottom. But these are all very usable, but I also realized that the white on top from Stylex is separating, even though I've never opened it because I'm still working through the big tub on the left. I think that's weird, and I'm gonna hope that it performs fine, because I already had a tub of those a couple years ago and I really liked it, so that's why I bought it again. But yeah, and then I have a little set of acrylic paints from Goya, and I haven't tried these yet, I think, but they are fresh and they were not cheap, or at least not as cheap as the others, so I'm hoping that they're pigmented and that I will like them. And then there was also like a couple of cheap acrylics at the end that I'm probably gonna use up after like one picture, one drawing, one painting. These are my favorite watercolors, or aquarelle. I can't pronounce that in English, I'm so sorry. But I really like this. This is from Van Gogh, and these are pigmented, they're blendable, they do exactly what they're supposed to do. No complaints. Then I have some gouache. This is the hyped stuff that I saw on the internet and I had to have these. But unfortunately, after my second painting with these, I forgot to close my set and they all dried out. Yay me! You can revive these easily with water, like there's no problem doing that. It just look kind of ugly now. And I also have these. I got these from TK Maxx for like €3, and after using them for the first time, I didn't use them for 2 weeks, and then I realized that half of them dried out, so I cut the tubes open and dumped the remainder into these pots, because they actually had matching colors, like it was the exact same colors that I realized that I broke, which was pretty nice, so I didn't have to throw the color away just because I couldn't open them anymore. But I prefer the Hemi quality. I think that those are a little bit harder to work with, but they're not bad. And then I have an unopened pack of high quality ones from Schminke, because I kind of have an urge to have high quality stuff sometimes, but I always end up using the low quality stuff, which is really stupid. Like, it's just a weird habit that I have to like hoard the good stuff and use the cheap stuff, and then I never end up using the good stuff, and I'm pretty sure that I've had this set for almost a year now and I still haven't used it. I maybe should just open it once, but I'm also scared that the expensive paints are just gonna dry out and then I will have wasted like $17 which I don't want, so I don't know. Then I have some more watercolors. These are in tubes and they're okay, and some of these little square pens from like also some kind of dollar store, and I actually really like the metallic effect that I have. I like to put this in backgrounds of paintings. I do have to layer them quite a bit, and they also come half empty, like why? Anyways, this was the first half of my art supply tour. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I'm gonna see you next week. Bye!